Apples of Gold presents the Gala Christmas Dress, a radio adaptation of a Mary Wilkins Freeman short story. Now here is Ken Guthrie to introduce this sentimental Yuletide novella.
The year is 1897, a few days before Christmas. Catherine and Ethel Tennant sit in their parlor finishing their evening meal of soup, tea, and a few biscuits. There is about the old women and all their belongings a gentle modesty that permeates throughout the whole house. The sisters' excessive shyness and secrecy almost has the impact of guilt, but no more guileless and upright persons could have been imagined than these two elderly spinsters. A whole family of skeletons might well be hidden in their guarded recesses of their home and hearts, but skeletons there are none, except perhaps a little innocent bone or two of old womanly pride.
I don't care anything about going to the Christmas party, Catherine. I don't really feel able.
I'd like to know why you ain't able.
It seems to me as if the singing and laughing and the children running around would drive me crazy. And Pansy Wilson says that they're going to have a real live Santa, and he goes around talking to the grown-ups, just as if they were children. And I don't feel as if I could stand it. You know my nerves ain't very strong, Catherine.
Pshaw, of course you're going. It's your turn to, and you know it. I went to the Thanksgiving service.
But a Christmas party, it's a little more of a rarity. It just wouldn't be fair.
Rarity? Well, I hope a Christmas party ain't quite such a treat to me that I'd rather go to it than to the Thanksgiving service. I should think you'd be ashamed of yourself speaking so, Ethel Tennant.
Well, I didn't think of how it sounded, Catherine.
Well, I should say you'd better think. It don't sound very becoming for a woman of your age and professing like you do. Now you'd better go and get out that dress so we can rip off the velvet and sew the lace on.
I wish we both had dresses. Then we could both go.
We both have dresses in a way. Yours has the lace, mine the velvet.
But it's the same dress still. We just changed the trim so folks will think we both have a gala dress and not just the one.
Ethel, you could just hush if you're going to talk like that.
I'm sorry, Catherine. I just hate that you have to miss the Christmas party. I'll go to the bedroom and get the dress.
And I'll figure out what kind of cake you'll take.
Don't you suppose I could go without a cake?
Well, I shouldn't think you'd want to go and be beholden to other folks for your eating.
Oh, I shouldn't want anything to eat. Besides, the Santa Claus is supposed to give everyone an orange. That would be enough for me.
I shouldn't count on Santa Claus. And if you're going, you ought to go like other folks. I ain't going to have Pansy Wilson peeking and prying and telling things about us.
Well, I guess. But
Ethel, we were born tenants and we'll stay tenants till we die. The tenants don't owe money and don't borrow money. We do what we're supposed to do. We know what's fitting to wear in public, and we won't be beholden to other folks.
Well, I didn't mean we should, Catherine. Well, I'll get the dress. I do wish the dress were just a few inches shorter.
Dress don't need to be any shorter. We're both the same height. It's just because you don't stand up straight.
I ain't very strong in my back. And you know I got a weakness in my stomach that hinders me from standing up as straight as you do.
You can stand up just as well as I can, if you've a mind. Fold the dress to hide the velvet and lay it across the chair. Put the lace trim on top of the dress. I'll take the velvet off and sew the lace on in a moment.
I can do it, Catherine.
You ain't finished your supper, Ethel.
Oh, I've had all I want, Catherine. You eat that last biscuit.
I've had all that a body needs, thank you.
With that soup and all, I've really eaten too much already.
I can put the biscuit away so you can eat it later.
I really do wish you would eat it, Catherine.
I've had my supper, thank you. I don't think I could eat another bite.
Ethel! Catherine!
It's Pansy Wilson.
She's come spying.
She always comes just around mealtime so she can tell folks just how little we have to eat.
Ethel! Catherine! You two in there?
Oh, what'll we do?
I'll clear the table. You let her in.
I'm coming, Pansy. Just a minute.
Don't bother, I'll just let myself in. My, I hope you'll excuse me. I didn't know you were eating supper. I'll go right out. It wasn't anything particular anyway.
No, it's all right. It's all right, isn't it, Catherine?
We finished our supper. I'm just clearing the dishes. Come in.
Oh, soup, tea, and a biscuit. I had beef for supper, a rather large piece. I believe in putting my money on my table.
We eat what we want. Different people have different tastes.
Of course. But folks do say that the tenant girls have so little to eat that they are ashamed to let folks see it.
Folks we know don't gossip. Strangers must talk like that. If you'll excuse me, I'll take the dishes to the kitchen.
I didn't mean to make her angry. I just ran over to see if either of you are going to the Christmas party.
Catherine says I'm to go.
I see your gala dress across the stair there and the lace. Fixing it?
Yes, I am.
The lace was ripped off. She has to mend it.
It's pretty lace, isn't it? I had some of the same kind on a mantilla once when I was a little girl. This makes me think of it. The sprigs in mine was set a little closer. Let me see, Catherine. Your black silk dress is trimmed with velvet on it, isn't it?
Yes, my dress has velvet.
Let me see. How was that velvet put on your waist?
It was put on peaked.
In one peak or two?
One.
Now I wonder, Catherine, if it wouldn't be too much trouble for you just to let me see your dress a minute. I've been thinking of fixing over my old alpaca a little, and I've got a piece of black velvet ribbon I've seamed over. It looks pretty good. I thought maybe I could put it on like yours.
Sometime, when it's convenient. I'd just soon show it as not.
Well, I'd be much obliged to you if you would. Don't let me keep you from your work. I'll just sit and talk while you fix the lace on your dress, Ethel.
Well, I
There ain't no need of that. We certainly don't intend to work with a guest here. Here, take the dress to the bedroom, Ethel. You can fix the lace later.
Oh,
Careful, you're dropping it.
I got
it. Oh, no.
It's torn. There's a big tear.
It's not serious. It can be mended.
There's just that one tear there by the shoulder.
Oh, it's torn.
Now, Ethel, stop that. The dress can be fixed as good as new. There will just be a little crease, that's all.
Yes, Ethel, it won't hardly show at all. In fact, it might even be a good thing. Folks now said they couldn't tell the difference between your dress and Catherine's, except one has lace and the other velvet. Now folks can tell from the tear, too.
That's true. They can...
What are we going to do?
Oh, you can just repair it. Well, I suspect I'd better be going. I'll come by for you tomorrow for the party, Ethel.
I don't know if I can go.
Certainly you'll go. You come by tomorrow evening on your way, Pansy. Ethel will be ready. Good night, Pansy.
Oh, yes, good night. Oh, I clean forgot what I came for. I saw Mrs. Stroh-Snyder, and she told me she saw Mrs. Barrel, who says that Mr. Wells is bringing you out a package.
A package to our house? I wonder whatever it could be.
Mrs. Stroh-Snyder didn't say. I guess Mrs. Barrel didn't know. Mr. Wells is very close-mouthed, you know.
Well, we'll know when it gets here. Good night, Pansy.
Good night. I'll come by for you tomorrow, Ethel.
Pansy Wilson has been our neighbor for almost 40 years now. It ain't Christian to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. She's spiteful.
She knows about our dress, don't she, Catherine? That we only have one.
She don't know yet for sure, or she wouldn't be prying. And she ain't going to find out.
I don't see why people would want to know about other people's private business anyway. I don't see why people gotta be like that.
Pansy's never had a fine party dress in her whole life, that's why. I remember that mantilla she had. The sprigs in her lace weren't nearly so close as those in yours. And her putting velvet ribbon on her alpaca isn't going to help a bit. An old alpaca is still an old alpaca.
I've always been kind of sorry for Pansy. She hasn't got anybody, and we've always got each other.
Well, I felt a good deal more kindly toward her before she said that about having so little to eat.
We have everything a body needs, don't we, Catherine?
Indeed we do. And if we didn't, it's not anybody else's affair.
But I guess I hadn't better go to the party.
And why not?
The tear. I tore the dress.
You didn't tear it. I tore it. And besides, I can fix it so folks will hardly notice it. And it's a real fine party dress. And nobody can't say it ain't. When Aunt Mary wore it at the meeting in Wheeling, everybody said it was the finest dress they'd ever seen.
Poor Aunt Mary.
Now, don't start that weeping again. Aunt Mary's been dead for over 10 years. And since you hardly knew her at all, there's no cause to start crying about her now.
I was just thinking that she gave us so much pleasure when she willed us this dress, and we never even had a chance to say thank you.
Folks never get a chance to say thank you anytime to other folks that will them things. Now we better get moving. We got to repair the dress. You got to take off the velvet and put on the lace. And I got to make that cake for you.
I don't think I should go to this Christmas party.
I don't know why not.
Don't you see, Catherine? Now that the dress is torn, folks will know that our dresses are the same dress. Changing the lace to velvet just won't do anymore.
We don't have to worry about that now. It was your dress that was torn. Pansy saw me tear it.
But what'll we do when it's your turn to wear it?
Don't need to think about that now.
Oh, I'm not going to go. If I go, you'll never be able to go out properly again. I'm not going to do it.
It's only right. I tore the dress.
No, you didn't. I tore it. I dropped it, and then I tore it.
I tore it.
Well, I dropped it.
Well, you go anyway. I'll think of something.
What?
Now, don't you go worrying me now. I'll think of something.
Well, I'm not going unless you think of something right now.
I can't think of something right now. I've got too much to do.
I wish Aunt Mary had never left us this dress.
That's what I'll do. You gave me the idea.
What? What'd I say?
You'll wear the dress tomorrow evening to the Christmas party, and folks can see that your dress has a tear in it that's been repaired. They may even learn that it was all caused by Pansy Wilson. It'll serve her right.
But,
And when I wear it next Sunday to meeting, I'll wear a little piece of crepe on it, and it will cover the torn place.
crepe. Folks will want to know who you're mourning.
Aunt Mary, our aunt that died.
But she's been dead for so long.
It don't make any difference. We tenants remember our dead. Don't we go to Father and Mother's graves every Sunday afternoon? And they've been dead longer than Aunt Mary.
Well, it just won't work. If you're in mourning, then I should be in mourning too. We're sisters.
Except that I was named for Aunt Mary, Catherine, and you weren't. Now that's settled.
Oh, Catherine, you're so clever.
Well, then we'd better get to work.
It's Pansy. She's come back.
We'll just have to tell her we're busy.
Miss Ethel, Miss Catherine, it's Patrick Wells. I got a parcel for you.
It's the package that Pansy told us about.
Well, open the door and let Mr. Wells in.
Come on in, Mr. Wells.
Oh, thank you, Miss Ethel. Excuse me, I have this trunk to carry in.
A whole trunk. Just imagine that.
Yeah, and it came all the way from Wheeling on the train.
Wheeling?
What folks do we know in Wheeling?
Aunt Mary lived there.
Well, what would Aunt Mary be sending us a trunk for?
Aunt Mary's dead.
Well, I hadn't heard you had a death in the family. I suppose that'll come hard on you two ladies, what with the Christmas season coming and you being in mourning and all.
Oh, Aunt Mary died with...
I'll be the only one wearing mourning crepe. Ethel hardly knew her. I was named for her.
Oh, well, if the trunk is all right, I'll be getting back to the depot. I guess maybe I'll see you tomorrow evening at the Christmas party, Miss Ethel.
Yes, Ethel will be there.
Well, good evening to you. Oh, darn it. I clean forgot. A letter come with the trunk.
A letter?
Yeah.
For us? Well, I wonder what the letter's about.
I guess if you open it, you can find out.
Oh, yes.
Good evening, Mr. Wells. Ethel will see you tomorrow night at the Christmas party.
Well, I'll be leaving then. Good night.
Well, Catherine, open the letter.
Well, just wait a minute until we're sure nobody else will be coming.
My, this has been a busy day. So much company.
It's good that Mr. Wells came by. Now he'll tell everybody in town about Aunt Mary, and nobody will be surprised when I wear crepe on the dress.
That was very fortunate, Catherine, and you are so clever. I'd have told him about Aunt Mary if you hadn't stopped me. Open the letter.
It's just a short note.
Well, we can read it several times.
It's from Rose Delaney.
Oh, do we know her?
She's Mildred Tennant's daughter.
She's family then?
Mildred was Aunt Mary's daughter.
Then Rose is Aunt Mary's granddaughter?
That's correct. She says that she found another copy of Aunt Mary's will, a later one than we knew about.
She doesn't want the dress back now, does she? It's torn now.
No, she says. No, she says. She says that Aunt Mary's left us not just the dress, but this trunk. And $500.
$500? Oh, my. But I suppose we ought to leave it to the church.
She says that the money is to be used each Christmas for a feast in honor of Aunt Mary.
A feast? A feast every Christmas? Oh, my.
With goose and pie and all the things that Aunt Mary liked.
Well, how unusual.
I don't know, Ethel. I just don't know if we can take it.
Well, why not, Catherine?
Aunt Mary and Father did not agree about Christmas. She was from Virginia, you know, and Father said she was much too free.
Oh?
I just don't think Father would want us to take it.
Well, I think you should. Don't you forget you were named for Aunt Mary, Catherine. It's an obligation to do what the dead ask, especially if one is named after them.
Perhaps you're right. I wouldn't want to offend her.
And just so you don't think I'm being selfish, we can invite some folks. Pansy and Mr. Wells, and maybe some others.
Perhaps. That would be the Christian thing to do.
And then Pansy wouldn't be saying things about how our eating so poorly and how we're ashamed to have folks see our meals.
I don't think that's a very Christian reason, Ethel, but it is a good one.
Do you think, Catherine, that maybe we could use some of the money to buy a dress? Then we could both go to the Christmas party tomorrow night.
Certainly not. Aunt Mary didn't say a word about buying any dresses. Besides, I don't know if I even want to go to the Christmas party. Well, we might as well open the trunk.
Oh, it's a very nice trunk.
Maybe it has some of Aunt Mary's books in it. She was very fond of reading. Oh, only proper books, of course. She had a handsome copy of Jonathan Edwards' sermon, Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God.
It's clothes.
Silk clothes.
A party dress.
2 party dresses.
Oh, I just don't believe it.
Maybe that Santa Claus really will give an orange to everyone. Remarkable things are happening.
Ethel, are you ready to go to the Christmas party? Catherine. Ethel.
Why, Pansy, I didn't know you were here.
I knocked and I called, but no one answered, so I just came in. You've got a new dress.
It's my Christmas dress. Aunt Mary gave it to me to wear on Christmas.
I don't think it's as pretty as the one with lace. Did you get it mended?
Catherine mended it. The tear doesn't show hardly at all.
Well, are you ready to go to the party? Although, I must say, it all looks like a party here with all the fixings.
Won't you have a piece of candy? We bought it special.
Bought candy? Don't know I've ever had bought candy.
We'll have to wait a few minutes. Catherine is still getting ready.
Catherine? Is she going? I didn't think she would be going. I didn't think that she and you ever went together. But your new dress, I guess she'll be wearing the one with the velvet.
Evening, Pansy. Thought I heard you.
Catherine, and you've got a new dress too?
It's my Christmas dress, and Mary gave it to me.
I heard that your Aunt Mary just died. Mrs. Brunetti told me that. Mrs. Lloyd told her that Mrs. Drown told her.
That Mr. Wells told her. I knew he would get it all wrong. Aunt Mary died more than 10 years ago. She willed us these dresses. But her granddaughter Rose, that's my cousin Mildred's girl, just found the will. Well, all this talk isn't going to get us to the party. Are we all ready?
I don't think I'm going to go.
But Pansy, this is all you've talked about for weeks.
I don't think I feel well. Maybe it was that store-bought candy. I don't think it agreed with me.
I've had 3 pieces, and it agreed with me.
That isn't it, Pansy. It isn't the candy at all.
All right. I just don't want to go. I've been wearing the same old alpaca dress all these years, and all the time I've been going with one or the other of you, and you always dress so proper. I've never have been able to decide whether I liked your dress with the lace, Ethel, better than yours with the velvet, Catherine. But they were both so pretty. I just have this old brown alpaca. Well, it wasn't so bad with just one, but now you both have. Well, I'm just not going.
Oh, Pansy. I never even thought.
We were going to ask you tomorrow anyway, so we might as well ask you now. Now that we have other dresses, we were just wondering.
If you would let me give you my dress with the lace.
Well, I always did like your dress with the lace, Ethel. Better than the one with the velvet. It's like that shawl I had when I was a girl.
Well, if you come with me, I'll help you get it on.
And hurry up! We don't want to be late for the party. I heard it's going to be very festive. And Santa Claus has an orange for each of us.
You have just heard the Apples of Gold radio adaptation of The Gala Christmas Dress, based on a Mary Wilkins Freeman short story. The cast included Claire Butler as Catherine Tennant, Amanda Walton as Ethel Tennant, Cheryl Webb as Pansy Wilson, and Kenny Bass as Patrick Wells. Any resemblance to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. The Gala Christmas Dress was introduced by Ken Guthrie, directed by Danny Webb, and produced by Rodney Pell in the Apples of Gold studio. This is Rodney Pell speaking.